What is going on today, guys? It's another video from Hazmat Trucker. Hope you guys are doing well. Today, I just wanted to talk about the very controversial topic of, is AI going to take over trucking? I'm going to start off with the disclaimer that I'm naturally skeptical, on top of hearing basically two camps go at it for the last 4.5 years that I've been in trucking. More recently, this topic has come up among more creative types that are very popular, specifically like the Joe Rogans of the world, different entertainers that are talking about this on their podcasts. And a lot of it is, AI is going to take everybody's job, not even just truckers' jobs. Therefore we need UBI, blah, 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 blah. The reality is that people are naturally glued to ideas that are doom and gloom versus positive and hopeful. If it bleeds, it leads, as the saying in the news goes. And so regardless of where you're sitting at on this topic, or even regardless of where the actual reality is within this topic, people are always going to naturally focus and concentrate on the negative aspects to any story or anything that's going on within the economy. I've been paying pretty close attention to this issue since I got into trucking because, believe it or not, I've heard this since pretty much my first year within trucking of, AI is going to take truckers' jobs. We're all going to be out of a job pretty soon. And, I kept hearing that since day one. So nothing has really changed in that sense. From what I have gathered, again, all of what I'm about to say is my opinion. That's based on evidence that I've seen personally, but take it for what it's worth. At the moment, AI is not necessarily taking jobs, let alone even trucker jobs. It's taking up tasks that are white collar in nature. It's doing a lot of low level research, and it's also doing things on the creative side. And that's also why the creative types, the artists and the podcasters, are also freaking out, is because with very little effort, AI can make its own music, art, podcasts, anything basically that is creatively based or made. Really, it's more of them just projecting them losing their jobs more than anyone who's actually blue collar or even white collar for that matter. Because again, outside of some niche examples, like I know there's AI trucks, for example, that are running a lane between, I think it's Houston or Dallas or San Antonio and Dallas. And people were freaking out about that. There's still jobs to be had. There's still plenty of opportunities within trucking. And whether it's AI or, the freight rates or any topic within trucking, there's going to be people who focus on the negatives. And that's just not me. That's not what this channel's about. And again, if you disagree with me, put it in the comments section down below and we can have that discussion. But again, as an overview, AI is just taking up low-level tasks. And so when we get into trucking specifically, is it possible 10, 15, even 20 years down the line that we could not be driving anymore, as far as like the actual task that, autonomous vehicles take over and autonomous trucks take over? It's certainly possible. I'm not going to say that it's not. So within trucking specifically, right? When it comes to this topics, you basically have two camps. The first camp says, and has been saying since I got into trucking, AI is coming for all of our jobs, and it's any day now that we're just going to be without jobs because they're just going to replace all of us. And then the other camp on the other side says, no, AI can't do anything right, and there's no purpose or meaning in it at all, and we're always going to have jobs, including the lowest tier truck driver who just bump stocks and has no specialization. He's always going to have a job. With most things, the truth is usually somewhere in the middle, right? So do I think, looking down the line, 10, 15, 20 years from now, we could be not necessarily driving the trucks, but supervising in case anything goes wrong, and AI or, whatever system they develop is driving the truck outside of extenuating circumstances, yeah, it's certainly possible, and it may even be likely. However, they've been touting that they have been transferring all of the latest technology from cars into trucks, into semi trucks for years now, like, adaptive cruise control and lane monitoring and blind spot monitoring. I don't know about you guys, but anywhere that you get significant weather, and I'm talking dense fog, heavy rain, heavy snow, um, outside of, sunny Florida and sunny California, where it's always nice outside of a few occasions, those systems already that we have, adaptive cruise control, lane monitoring, blind spot monitoring, all of those systems, that doesn't work in bad weather. That completely goes out the window in bad weather. And so you already have to take over from those systems when there is bad weather afoot. So AI is going to be no different in that. That system is not going to be functional in inclement weather, let alone if the road markers disappear, or if they're poorly painted, or extenuating circumstances like that. So even, 10, 15, 20 years down the line, we're still going to probably have to take over for those circumstances when AI can't tell what's going on the road in front of the truck. Because again, I've been in several storms now here in Wyoming where I can't see 5 feet in front of my truck. And so I'm going to have to crawl along, and it takes creative problem solving, which AI does not have, as much as people like to claim it does. AI does not have, and maybe it will at a certain point. But again, that leads me to my next point. So even if it does completely take over our driving aspect of our job, that's not the only thing that we do. Certainly not as fuel haulers, certainly not as the guys who deliver food, certainly not the flatbedders, certainly not anyone who is specialized and does not just purely drive for a living. Yeah, I think it is possible, not even maybe probable, but it is possible that in the future, the guys who simply drive and bump docks and don't do anything else outside of the basics of fueling their truck and dropping and hooking, yeah, they might be out of a job. This is why I stress and others stress to get your endorsements, to be specialized, because the more endorsements you have and the more complicated that your job is, the less likely it is going to be replaced anyways. And that's not just within trucking, that's within the trades, that's within every single job. The more complex, more specialized that you are, it is going to be better off for you versus those who do not specialize. Again, another perfect example from the fuel hauling side of things. Several winters, pretty much every single winter, I'll show up to a store. There's ice and snow on top of the drops. Is AI going to get out and, uncover the ice and snow for me? I mean, that'd be kind of nice, but that's not really going to happen. Also, AI would also have to take over loading the truck. So all of the loading racks and refineries that we go to would have to then implement their own AI system to be able to load the trucks themselves. And then they would also be able to have to drive to the store, show up to the store, unload the truck, and deal with all the complications that come with that, such as somebody parking on the drop, snow being on the drop, etc. Whatever circumstances may come up that doesn't allow you to drop normally. Again, there's just so many different factors that have to be accounted for that it is extremely unlikely that we're going to be, even those of us who specialize, or let alone just do anything above and beyond bump a dock and drive, that we're going to be out of a job. It's just likely it's not going to happen. Obviously, for example, every time there's a huge jump in technology, you can just go back in history and look. Like, for example, when computers came on the scene, yes, the entire typewriting industry died because personal computers took over, and there was a whole new wave of jobs that were created that we did not account for, that also simultaneously replaced the guys who were working on typewriters. And there's multiple examples that you can look back in history. When there's a giant rush in new technology, yes, some industries and some jobs do go away with the new technology, but there are also a ton of jobs that are created along with the new technology. But again, being optimistic or even pragmatic about that doesn't get clicks, doesn't get views. And so a lot of times that just kind of falls beneath the, well, you're all going to be out of a job and there's nothing you can do about it. And, be prepared to meet your maker, or, some gobbledygook like that. Again, if you guys disagree with me, or you agree with me, or you want me to talk about anything else specific in a video, I'd be happy to make it. Just put it in the comment section down below. And if you found this video helpful and you'd like to see more, please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one. God bless.